Hi everyone, Heather Cuesta here. This is week 5, assignment 2. We are developing our self-portraits using light and shadow to develop the topography of the face. So take a look at this portion of the assignment instructions right here. Establish a distinct light source on your face. Keep in mind, the stronger and closer the light source is to the figure, the more dramatic the shadows. Okay, I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom to some samples that I've posted. Okay, in all of these examples, you can see a clear light source. Okay, so take for example this one. It's very obvious in this example. The light source is raking in from the top left. It's casting the entire back side of the face in shadow. So if you use your light to develop some strong shadows, then you have an opportunity to really trace the topography of the face, around the nose, around the contours of the eyes. Think of the shading of the face in the same way that you shaded your sphere from several assignments back. Without that contrast in light, all you have is a flat disc. You really need that contrast to bring out this three-dimensional form. Okay, so remember that for week 6, assignment 1, your final drawing is really just a continuation of this one. So you'll want to set up your light source and really work on creating some nice strong contrast. Now here's the payoff at the end. I'll put in these white highlights and your drawing will really pop. Right here you've got some very strong highlights around the nose, just where the light's catching, right here on the brow, the tip of the lips, the very top of this contour of the lips, and that tiny little detail added at the very end is really going to help your drawing pop. So everyone take a look at these samples. I've also attached some to the post for the individual critiques too. So take a look at them, and I think that'll really help a lot for developing this into your final drawing. Okay, we're continuing now with Latoya, Raymond, Jasmine, and Deidre. Okay, let's begin with Latoya. Okay, Latoya, this is the drawing that you posted previously, and I can see you've used your citing lines, and here you've refined some of those proportions. Okay, Latoya, I think your style is very interesting. It's a stylized, flat, geometric style. It's really lovely as a design. Now, Latoya, let's work on some refinements here that'll make it more consistent with the aims of observational drawing. So, for example, I can see that you've got your light raking in here from the right, and it's casting the back of your head in shadow. Okay, so right now, the way these shadows are falling, it's almost as if this was sort of a round sphere. Let's try and make those shadows curve to the contours of your face a little more closely. Okay, so what you're going to have is something like an E shape over here. That shadow's going to wrap inward to your eye, something like that. It's going to go up under your lips. It's going to wrap right around your chin here to create that sort of ball on your chin. It's going to catch this side up under your nose. But most of all, it's going to catch this ridge right here, this ridge along the nose. Okay, right now you've got your nose described by an outline. This outline right here, let me switch pencils here. Okay, so in a face, we don't have an outline. What we have is transitions in value. So without putting in an outline, just darken this ridge up along your nose, and you'll have this line naturally without it being an outline. So it'll be very light on the right-hand side of it and darker as it transitions into shadow. Use that same technique for most of the face. If you look at the face, there aren't really that many outlines. The outlines that you'll find on your face are up under the nose. You can trace up under the nose. There's a very distinct line around the nostrils, around the eyelids, of course, and around the lips. Now, one thing that you can do, and this is going to sound counterintuitive, but one thing that really helps in a drawing is to let some of these lines dissolve. Let some of these outlines dissolve into the light. Okay? So instead of having all these outlines, just have a transition in value that describes the edge of these forms. Okay? That's going to help a lot with creating the illusion of a three-dimensional form. Okay, now some artists will even use this technique. They'll sort of fake it a little bit, and they'll use thicker lines where an object is receding back into space, and they'll thin out the lines that are closer to the viewer. So, for example, they might thin out these lines that are sort of in the front of the eye and then allow them to thicken towards the end. So, Latoya, these are just a few little tricks that you could apply here, but mostly our aim here is to really trace the topography of your face using light and shadow. So good start here, just keep practicing, keep at it, and you'll be all set. Okay, continuing now with Raymond. Raymond, this is your drawing from the previous assignment, which was lovely. And here's your new drawing. You've really challenged yourself. You've started over entirely, and I appreciate your work on this. Okay, Raymond, you must really enjoy a challenge because you've also put in this difficult lighting situation. Your light is raking in up here from the bottom right, which is kind of unusual. You're looking upward. Maybe it's my imagination, but it looks as if you're looking up heavenward. I see on this side of the face, in theory, this should be in a little bit more of a shadow because you have such strong light over here. But I see this a lot in Renaissance paintings of holy figures. They will cast some light back into the dark side of the face, and that gives the face sort of a glow. So I wonder if that's what you're up to here. But in any case, Raymond, beautiful job on this. All kinds of lovely topography, some very strong highlights right here in the nose and the lips where it's really catching this light from beyond. Raymond, beautiful, beautiful work. I can't wait to see what you come up with next. So keep drawing, keep at it. This is just lovely work. Okay, continuing now with Jasmine. Okay, Jasmine, this is progressing nicely. Now, Jasmine, I would suggest going back to those basic measurements that we discussed in the critique for the previous assignment. So, for example, take a look at where the lips meet up with the pupils here. Okay, your lips are extending beyond the eyes. They're almost as wide as the eyes. Even though you have this lovely big smile here, take a look. Your lips are still not extending beyond the eyes. So if you drew a triangle here, you would see that these lips are not way out here beyond the eyes. So it's going to be really, really important to just go back to those basic measurements. These lips need to be narrower. And once these lips are narrower, this nose will look much more in proportion. The neck is actually really wide on a human figure. We don't think of the neck being that wide, but the neck attaches just up under the ears. There's not this great big distance right here. So Jasmine, before you begin the light and shadow, it'll just be really important to go back and work on some of these horizontal measurements. You've got the vertical ones in pretty good. You've got I'd still say the top of your head needs to be a little higher, but you've got you've got things pretty much where they belong as far as top to bottom, but side to side. Put in those vertical measurements to help you measure these things side to side, the lips in particular. So good start here, Jasmine. Just keep practicing. Okay, continuing now with Deidre. Okay, Deidre, this is your photograph that you posted with your week 5 assignment 1. And these were your initial proportions for week 5 assignment 1. Okay, Deidre, I see how you've actually resolved a lot of what I was going to say in this next drawing here. I think you might have looked at the video and went back and refined some of these. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I can see how you fixed them in this one right here. So, okay, Deidre, I think you're off to a very, very nice start here. There's a few things that you could, some very small refinements that are going to help you immediately fix this up. So let me just kind of show you that. Okay, the shoulders. Shoulders need to be much, much, much wider. Okay, no one's shoulders are that narrow. These will go right off the page. Okay, take a look at your photo. Okay, they're going to go right off the page. Okay, the earrings. Earrings need to be a good bit lower. Okay, take a look at where your earrings attach. They're actually sort of the lower part of your earring is actually pretty close to your lip right there. Okay, so you can see how much further those earrings need to come down. Because right now they kind of look like ears. I had to look and go, are those her ears? And then I realized those were your earrings. So bring those down a good bit, then you can get those ears in there. Okay, the top of your head, I still feel like it's a little too short. Okay, so in theory, this distance from here, okay, if you draw a T across your face, in theory, this distance should be about the same. Okay, so the top of your head should be about like this. Now, in some people, there's going to be some variations, but I think you need a little more space up there. You can determine whether you need that much space. I'm not really sure. Let's see. Yeah. So, in any case, okay, Deidre, let's take a look at your glasses here. Okay, first of all, I think this is actually a really good likeness, even with some of these refinements that need to be put into place. But take a look at your glasses here. Your glasses right here need to extend beyond a little bit, okay? As if they are, right now they're kind of functioning as goggles. They're sort of stuck to your face, so make that extend a little more, and you can see that in your photo if you look. The glasses extend beyond your face. Okay, so let's take that off. All right, but the most important thing that you're going to be doing here is working with your light source. So same thing I've been harping on for the rest of the class. Figure out where your light source is. Now from your photograph, there's a little bit of light coming in here off from the right, but it's pretty ambient. You don't have a very clear light that's really going to allow you to trace the topography of your face. So let's take a look at that. Sorry, back here. All right. So once you put in your light source, that is going to cast one side of your face back into shadow. Oh, I'm sorry. Look, it looks like I see some shadow here. It looks like you have already started. Okay, this light patch in the cheek here confused me. So let me take this off. Let's work with this a little differently. Okay, so let me widen my brush here. Okay, so if this side of the face is in shadow, think of this the very same way that you were drawing your sphere. You needed a very strong light. Back several assignments ago when you were doing your still life, you needed a nice strong light to be able to bring out the volumes of those drawings. So once you get a nice strong light in here, you're going to be able to trace the topography of the face. So the way you started on your nose right here was very, very good. That's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So keep doing that and really look at this topography, look at these curves. In theory, this light should wrap around sort of the ball of the chin right here. It's going to, sorry, it's really hard for me to just draw in Photoshop like this, but I want to give you an idea. Okay, so it's going to catch up under the nose, along here, and then it's going to, the light is going to catch on your cheekbone, the same way you've drawn it, but not quite so far back. Okay, so something closer to this. All right. And then you'll be able to add a little bit of darkness up under your eyes here. Okay, another area that you'll want to work on is some of these shadows. I'm sorry, these outlines. Let me take this off. Okay, this might sound counterintuitive, but if you take off some of these outlines here, you're going to have a much more naturalistic look. So just allow some of these areas, not everywhere, but some of these areas, just allow these lines here to dissolve or to thin out. Describe the change in plane but with simply a value instead of an outline. So for example, your lips might be, let's see, let's look at your drawing here. Your lips might simply be described by a change in value instead of an outline. So you can see here how you've got this slightly darker color, this it's pink in the color photo, of course, but it's slightly darker in value without having to put an outline in. Okay, so if you can manage to take off some of these outlines, and once you start putting in more emphatic, darker shadows, that is going to give you a lot more opportunity to darken up some of these lighter areas in order to create that transition in value. And then at the very end, you can go back and really pick out some of those very strong highlights, and that is really what makes your drawing pop right there at the end, when you can sort of pick out these areas that that will catch the light. Okay, so good job everyone. I appreciate your work here and I'm looking forward to seeing how you finish these up for week 6 assignment 1. If you'd like to post again, feel free and I'll be glad to add additional comments. Thanks everyone.